something that I'm doing right now that it's working for me like a charm is that in my Apple Watch, I have downloaded a QR code that is the face of my watch. So when I am interacting with people, it serves as my kind of like introductory business card. And they just put the camera out, they scan my code, and immediately it takes them to all my social media links, and it gives me an Insta follow for Instagram.
If you're a bartender, don't stop yourself with spirit brands or bitter brands. Like I used to do collabs with like cheese brands, olive oil brands, etc. Right to everyone. Everyone loves cocktail. No one doesn't like cocktails, you know.
The more stories you can have, the more likely you are to engage with the masses and engage with different consumers, different viewers on your IG or on your TikTok. I think that's where it starts, you know.
Hello everyone, welcome to our next episode of Do This Now, presented by Beverage Trade Network. We are here with the CEO, founder, and host for today, Sid. Hey Sid, how are you?
Super, Ankita. How's it going?
Amazing. So I will be your co-host. I handle global growth and lead events at Beverage Trade Network, and I'm super pleased to share with our audience that today we have very special guest for all of you. The top drinks influencers right now. We have Drink Masters, the latest Netflix show's bartenders and mixologists here. And we will be asking them one single question, and that is, what can drinks influencers do right now to grow their profiles in 2023? So over to you, Sid.
What we're going to talk really about is what can influencers do today to grow in 2023. So what we really want to know is, how they are changing their grids and sort of tactics to position themselves in 2023, how they can work with the brands to make sure that, there is a win-win partnership. And then third is, how they can start building a more and more personal leverage and brand, while they are in their current businesses. Can be a bartender or can be working for a distillery. But the idea is, to grow their personal brand. So let's get started, Ankita.
Allow me to invite our first guest, Alex. Alex is currently working as a beverage director at Lost Spirits Distillery. He has previously worked as a bar lead at The Battery. Growing up in San Juan, Puerto Rico, Alex has been working in restaurants for more than 2 decades. He moved to San Francisco in 2013, and he was also featured in the season 1 of the Drink Master show at Netflix this year. So hello, Alex, and over to you, Sid.
Alex, thanks again for joining us here. We're going to ask you one simple question. What can drinks influencers do today to grow their personal brand in 2023? So what do you see working for you? What do you think a good win-win partnership with a brand looks like? And what are some tactics you can share with us to just grow your, following on, let's say, Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn, which are pretty much the current attention assets right now. So over to you, Alex.
Something that I'm doing right now that it's working for me like a charm is that in my Apple Watch, I have downloaded a QR code that is the face of my watch. So when I am interacting with people, it serves as my kind of like introductory business card. And they just put the camera out, they scan my code, and immediately it takes them to all my social media links, and it gives me an Insta follow for Instagram.
Love it.
And then that way, I think that's probably one of the biggest trends that I think that it could evolve into when it comes to getting your followers and getting everything out there and getting content out, actually. Mm-hmm. That QR code. So it serves like a Linktree Pro. Mm-hmm. But it's a little bit more organized, and you have more control of it. That way they interact with you instantly, they follow you instantly, and you don't lose the connection, because here what is important is momentum and creating relevancy.
True.
And that translates to when you go to branding, working with brands and seeing out like, what's your style? What do you bring? And what do you what content you can create with them together. And creativity, being creative is a huge part of this. If you're not a creative person, you have to might get associated with somebody that has a more understanding of what the consumer wants and how to get to them by staying relevant.
Fair enough. You picked the right word, relevant content. What do you think, resonates with the audience right now, especially, while we have a little bit of a recessionary feeling in 2023, what kind of content you think, one should pump out more? Like, have you seen, being more emotional, EQ high content, or still entertainment works, cocktails works, pictures of cocktails work better? What is working, to grow that engagement?
To me, cocktails are secondary, are the last important thing. Being able to express the thought process, creating the content of the thought process prior to, for you getting to the cocktail, is what really matters right now. Because it's an understanding of the artistic expression before you materialize it into something. And before you get that, there has to be an emotional connection, a vibration, frequency, energy, to be in sync with your mind and with your inner thoughts, to be able to express that on a cocktail. So to me, cocktails are secondary. They're not even, to me the cocktail is the supporting cast of my emotion, thoughts, and feelings. So creating content that is relevant to that is what gonna make you connect to your targeted audience, because it's you're putting yourself out there and you're real. And once you accomplish that, and once you are able to show the genuine you, that's when you're gonna get to people. It's not really the pretty cherries that it's not the how frosty you can make the glass look, or how the berries are well polished or clean. Like, no. What filter I'm gonna use?
I think what you're saying is, you got to stick with your personality. You got to do what feels natural to you, and you got to be, naturally attract the audience which likes your personality. Correct?
Yeah, that's my approach to all this.
Fair enough. So let's go on some tactics, Alex. Have you found any particular brand that have, after, especially the drinks masters, right? Like, congratulations first of all on that. Have you found your inbound inquiries or some inboxes coming up with, hey, can you make cocktails for our brands, or can you just say a couple of words for our brand, or how are you selecting your brand partnerships, and what is the right way, let's say, for an influencer to look at a partnership?
I get flooded on my DMs with, like, since the show, of course, people got a chance to see a peek of who I am, my style, and my approach to things. And people, I think, picked up that I'm a cultural guy, family guy, and that resonates with people a little bit more. So that's my partnership. That's how I look into when somebody wants to come with me or partner with me. I look at their philosophy, their ethics, and I do a search, and I spend my time seeing where their funds go to, who do they help, who they're associated with. Because if you are in a room with billionaires, you're gonna be destined to be the next billionaire. If you're in a room of misogynist, racist, and abusive people, psychopath and killers, you might be in a good percentage to be one of them too. Either one of them. Don't necessarily have to be one of them, but either one of them. So with that being said, I like to be associated with brands that have the same practices, that they have good cultural roots, they're family orientated, they do things for the community, they have outreach programs. But you have to be careful when you're looking into brands like this, because some brands, they just want to be opportunistic and almost kind of like take advantage of the moment, of the cultural thing that it's trending right now, and jump on that wagon. And
so
if you
how do you audit some brands? Let's say you got 5 inquiries, right? I just want to make sure audience gets some value here, especially if we have a lot of distillers working, listening to this. So let's say you got 5 brands. You know, what are some 4 or 5 questions you throw in back to just, you know, see half of them disappear? You know, what are your qualifications question you ask them back?
Well, I really don't ask them for nothing. I just look into their body of work. Actions speak louder than words. You can,
Got it.
you as a brand, you can print out some bullshit template document and send it to me, and that doesn't say shit. You know, I as a person, as a professional, need to look into your body of work. The same way you scrutinize my resume and you ask about who I am, what I've done, what I've achieved. The same way I'm going to look at you with the same flashlight. What you as a company have done. What are you? I might ask if it progresses. You know, where do you see yourself as a brand in 5 years? What are your projections? What are your goals? Those kind of things. If you haven't been actively opening, defending minorities, cultural things in the past 20 years, and you just started doing in the past 2 years, that's a red flag for me. Because if you are an established brand of 120 years, and just in the past 5 years you recently have been active fighting advocacy for family, culture, or anything like that, you're just a poser. You know?
Fair enough. So let's go on the fun part a little bit, and then one last question. How did you end up on, you know, Drinks Masters? Like, you know, was there an application process, or did they hunt you? How did this happen?
So there was an ad that it was I got sent by a couple of friends from in the industry. Hey, you should try out for this. Hey, they're having this out. And I finally one morning I was like sitting, like feeling a little bit like, I don't know, mostly like don't give me the rat's ass of what's gonna be about. So I was like, yeah, let's go for it. So I applied with a very unusual way that is not me, and it got attention. And I was very cocky in my application, which I'm not. I'm super chill, but I said like, what the heck? Let's see if this gets me in, and it kind of got me in.
Did you have to record a video or like some visual, because it's TV? They want to see how you are on camera. Okay.
Yes, everything. Now, that being said, also one thing that helped me is that my body of work, my trajectory. You know, that they see like, oh, this dude has won over 100 competitions. He's been featured. Like all these techniques that we want to put out, this guy's been doing it since 2008, 2007. So body of work and integrity and consistency, the things that I just talked about in the past 10 minutes, helped me to get there. Because if my body of work and my integrity and my professionalism hadn't been there, I wouldn't have had a chance. Because just on looks by itself, and by speech and by accent, you can tell I'm no fucking Brad Pitt, you know? Yeah. So that's not what I don't know if I can curse on this thing, but anyway, like.
No, I think it's the experience which helped them fit you in their scripts of a lot of other stuff. As you said, like they had this cocktail and, you know, they had this and that, and I mean, it's amazing. Like your experience, I think you were one of the most experienced person out there, right? Like as far as the journey goes. On the bartenders, Alex, you know, let's say you're wearing a bartender's hat, which you are. So we also have a lot of bartenders who are trying to build their personal profiles. Personal, you know, brands. You know, because obviously there is one is, let's say you are working at a 3-star, 4-star place, and you want to go to a 5-star establishment. There can be, you know, for the salary hikes in internal organizations, but personal branding. I think personal followers do help bartenders grow when it comes to even negotiating a salary, for example, in their current jobs, right? How do you advise bartenders to sort of position themselves in making sure that they're not pissing their current employers, you know, that it doesn't feel greedy, at the same time, you know, they are building their followers? Stay true to who you are. Stay true to your skills. Like, be conscious. Like, don't ask for $1 million salary when your ethic and when your skills are of a $10.
You know what I mean? So like always stay up to trends. So when you sit down and you want to upgrade your status, or you want to ask for more money for your contracts, whatever, stay up to trend. So when those conversations sit down, understand numbers, get some classes on businesses and how they on how they function. And so that way, when you're sitting down and you're able to talk numbers with brands, clients, or even with followers that they want to hire you for an event or something, that you're able to express that and put that on paper by bringing you who you are. Like, so stay true to who you are. Like, pick I would say like for me, like I'm a Latino guy. It's not that you fall into stereotype, but that's my culture. That's where I came from. And that's what I speak. So it wouldn't be like, for me, like, it wouldn't fit if I come out with a Japanese flag and wearing a kimono. Like it's not that it's wrong if you are part of the culture, but it's not who I am. So I'm gonna come out as who I am, and that is at the end is gonna help you brand out and connect with people.
So let's say you want to do some business development, right? You're looking for some brands as a client. You know, what kind of content you would put out, or what kind of facade you would put out on your portfolio to make sure that you're open for business? You know, are there any things that you would do, you know, intentionally to, you know, show that you're open for business?
Well, I mean, like, the uses of technology nowadays and the way you represent yourself out there, and will definitely bring people. And again, like, I wouldn't accept even the approach if it's not a fit. Like, I could have a headliner of opening brands, of opening projects, and like I could have like an open market for it. But if the initial interaction, like, if it's not a fit, and I look for fit in the same standards that I have for my other projects. Like, I look at the core of the brand, the person. So the same way I can look at.
I think you value you know, the principles a lot based on the conversation I'm having. You really want to make sure that they are true to their values and they align with your values, right? So let's say that's done. You know, you found an amazing brand which you are in love with. What 3 or 4 things you think drinks influencers can do to really help brands? Like 3 or 4, you know, kind of posts. Like, let's give some meat here. You know, what kind of creatives or posts you think drinks influencers can do for brands that will work?
On how they help the community, how they reach to their peers, how they are building programs to help the pursuit and continuous education of the community, and how they become more transparent to the people. Transparency nowadays, like what's going behind your doors, you know. So again, like, this is not a simple equation of giving them tools. Yeah, you need to put this filter and put this algorithm so you can get bumped, and this is the content that you need to see. No, this shit is deep. It's real. It's a little bit more than just conjuring a couple of techniques and a couple of tools to give you so you can make the brand pretty and just be out there. No. If you're working with genuine people, that's what we look for. If you're looking for somebody to post and stuff, they'll give you, use this Snapchat filter, use this new app that makes these things look more glossy, or this is use these hashtags, use these ads, and that's what's gonna get you to the latest trend. Go and reach out these influencers, team up with them, do collaboration, go with that's easy, that's the superficial shit. No, I go with more a little bit deep.
Have you got anything else, any tips, closing remarks for, you know, drinks influencers out there for 2023?
Yeah, they keep drink influencers. Start reading, start looking into information, and look for a place to apply it besides your home. You know, go find a place and work a shift at a bar and see what it's like to be in that realm, because it's more than just making a drink. Like, this thing is, it's culture, it's passion, it's life, you know, than just setting up a table, putting a couple of drinks up, filming it. Yeah,
agreed, 100% agreed. Like, you got to feel, you know, the actual job of the customer service, the waiter, the pressure, the face the customer, basically.
Having people curse at you because you look different, and you should not be behind the bar, and you should be in the kitchen, right? Yeah, those kind of things. Being denied good shifts because you don't have double Ds. Yes, that's that kind of deal. People need to experience and to see, because, you know, when you don't fit in a place because they don't make you feel fit in.
Yeah,
those things you need to experience in order for you to see, like, wow, it cost me hard labor to get up where I am.
I'm just going to quickly have Lloyd as our second guest. The youngest contestant on Drink Master, Lloyd seemed pretty excited at the opportunity to compete against the best one in the industry. His creations were unique and helped him win quite a few accolades in the show as well. At present, Lloyd is based out of Montreal, Canada, and is a proud owner of Wondros Hospitality. Over to you, sir.
Super, Lloyd. Thanks for coming, and congratulations for Drinks Masters. Pretty fantastic show.
Thanks a lot.
So I think the purpose of this video interview is really to understand what can drinks influencers do today to position themselves better in 2023. You know, so you know where we are, the current context, you know, a recession rate, maybe less marketing dollars out there. So I think deeper partnerships. So I think what we really want to know is, you know, how can influencers, especially in the people who are in the drinks industry, can start playing their cards. So over to you.
So honestly, what helped me a lot was finding a team around me. I have a lot of people working behind my social medias and my corporation events. That helped a lot, very much. Also reminding to post every day, doing content every day. Keep doing it. It's honestly the only way to do it.
Fantastic. I saw your profile. You know, it does give me a little bit of a consistent aesthetic feel. So was it natural, or you had put in an effort to design a particular tone towards it?
Actually, as I said, I work with an agency already.
Okay.
So they helped me a lot with that. Also, my partner studied in marketing, so yeah, she helped me a lot with it. She posts for me, actually, so it helped me a lot. So I can concentrate on creating content, and then they organize everything, you know.
Fair enough. So I think that leads me to a question, you know, where especially when you hit up, you know, certain volume, you give someone an intern or maybe a person in your company or an agency, it's very hard to you know, them to know your actual personality, right? Now, for example, if I'm looking for someone to manage my account, I really want to make sure it's my natural personality that's coming out. So do you have that? Did you have that person shadow with you, sort of, to understand you really? You know, how did you make sure that they were really you?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. So it's a lot of meetings. It's a lot of work behind it to just show your personality to a team, so they can understand what you want to post, what you want to do, and also with the brands. You know, when right now I'm working a lot with Bombay. You really need to sit down with them and tell them, like, okay, that's who I am. That's what I want to show, and I think that's the way I want to go. You know. And if it doesn't work, don't change your personality for a brand. Don't change your personality for a contract. It won't work. It will show. You know, stay yourself, and that's it. Yeah.
What about planning? Like, how do you work with them? Like, do they send you stuff for approval? Did you even check it, or you just let them post whatever, you know, they are doing on your accounts?
So right now we are trying to plan ahead the more we can. Actually, I've been an influencer since like the past month, I think. So it's still all new for me. So yeah, right now we are planning everything up to 2 months in advance. Yeah.
I think you are at that stage where, I'm sure you are auditing your time now, right? Like whether you putting work in making a creative on Insta for 2 hours is better, or maybe you doing a podcast or meeting someone is better, right? And so on. So I think let's take this further from an Instagram person to an actual business now, right? I think that's where I see you doing. So I think you are maybe you can arrange a whole event for a brand, So how have you structured your team? I see that you're investing in that. I can already see that. So what's your plan like behind this whole thing to brand yourself and your company?
So for sure, what we want to try right now is right now I'm actually traveling a lot. So right now I'm in Kentucky, I'm in Kentucky, Louisville. So I'm taking a bit of time off my job I had before, just to travel a lot. And that's about it for the moment. After that, yes, we have a plan about doing this corporate thing and maybe taking this name and making it into a brand,
Sure. So walk me over your team dynamics. Like you have one social media person, one business, and maybe someone else, 3 people team.
So I'm having an agent. So a complete agency.
So the whole agency is handling your representation?
Exactly. So the agency it's on my agency, so it's not my secretary, it's not my social media manager. It's I'm the client. They are my agency,
Understood. Yeah. So I can see. So you want more influencers, more brand ambassadors, more bartenders to come in your agency, and you want to build your
exactly. So yes, for sure we have like in the agency we have a social media manager, we got an event coordinator, we got all those things. It's a big team.
Understood. Let's go on some tactics. Lloyd, I think I just had a glance at your profile. Can you share some 3 or 4, like real tactical things that are working and that you suggest that people should do if they are in the, their drinks influencers, let's say more, this kind of reels or maybe more this kind of TikToks. And we're talking a little B2B here. Okay. So just to give you a context, mainly brands who are trying to build more of a B2B awareness.
This is something I said a couple of times yet. Don't be scared of writing to brands you like. Don't be shy. Honestly, before going to the show to Drink Master, I used to write to brands at least once a week, just to have a free collaboration. I used to pay to make collaboration, It's hard work, but don't be shy. If you like a brand, if you like Hell Bombay, you're saying, hey, I want to work with Bombay, write to them like every week.
What do you write to them? Hey, give me a chance of creating
like one brand. Would you mind maybe doing a collab with me? I will bring my own product. Just would you mind posting it back in a story? And that's how you grow, To my personal opinion, Don't be shy. Ask about it. Grow your content. Grow the people around you. That's the best trick. If you're a bartender, don't stop yourself with spirit brands or bitter brands. Like I used to do collabs with like cheese brands, olive oil brands, etc. Right to everyone of cocktail. No one doesn't like cocktails, So
that's to everyone. That's a very good one. That's a good point. Yeah.
People. That's how you create your circle. That's how you go far.
That's a good point. What about the type of the content? You see. This is just my question personally. Like I always see cocktail pictures doing better, but lately I've not, maybe sometimes it does better, sometimes it doesn't. Is there a proven thing that you can say for sure that cocktail pictures will work?
Right now on Instagram, the trend, the algorithm works as the more than one photo per pose work.
Okay.
The one you slide.
Yeah. So I understood. So more of a carousel, I guess. Yeah.
The carousel, that's the word, exactly. Yep. So carousel right now works very well. I strongly suggest to put some pictures of your face. People love that. It makes it less like a publicity. On social media, people don't want to see publicity. We've been seeing that for years. So
less face, you mean, or more face?
More face. Show your face. Show lifestyle.
But then don't you think that will be more like a self-promotion?
Well, it could be a self-promotion, but people want to identify to you. And showing this like complicated, clarified espresso martini that half of the people won't do at home because it's too complicated. People won't identify to that. People don't care about that, you know.
So
People
I
care
think what
someone making a cocktail. Look at Tipsy Bartender, you know.
yeah, amazing.
It's doing great, man. It's going great. But hell.
So I think one of the questions that I often ask myself is, how do I add value to my audience, right? How do I give them value? So same goes with you. Like, what are the 3 or 4 things? One is cocktail recipes, which we all know one can do. What are 3 or 4 more things, Lloyd, that you can do that is giving value to your community, you know, while social media?
Answering their demand, reading the comments, answering the comments. That's important.
What are they asking normally? Like, what, you know, if you did a show like 5 minutes with Lloyd, ask me 10 questions, what do you think normally they ask?
Well, right now it's a lot about Drink Masters, you know. It's a lot about, hey, how was it on the show? Was that, did that happen for real? Blah, 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 blah. But I still have a lot of, you know, when bartenders ask you like, hey, I got this competition going on. I'm not sure what I should do. Answer to them. These are nice people, and these are the future of the cocktail world, you know.
True.
Those people who try to do small competitions.
So that's a good one. You want to help other bartenders, see lower bartenders, maybe young bartenders.
Well, that's hospitality, I think.
Yeah,
that's part of the industry. You need to help the youngest one. That's actually how I became what I became. It's because I had so many mentors and
true. Yeah. What about like content for the distilleries? Do you guys make it at all? Like anything, you know, hey, this is how I buy. This is how, you know, I would prefer support programs. This is what works for me in my bar, you know, etc. Do you think those kind of contents work?
These are interesting content. As I said, I wouldn't put like a picture of a bottle for post. No, it doesn't work. It needs to be very much about the lifestyle around it. How the message that the brand want to bring to people. You know, like look at Patron. Patron is very much about eco-responsibility and sustainable bars. You know.
Yeah.
Well, if you're doing a collaboration with that brand, show that to people. Show how to make like this cocktail with 0 waste, you know, those kind of things. But that's the best thing. That's the best way to go. Connect with your community. I think so.
Back on the brands, right? Like when you're working with a brand, you know, personally, do you prefer to work one at a time, or are you open with more? And then let's say, you know, whoever you're working with, like what are the 3 or 4 things that you want to make sure that you put in your contract, you know, that you are comfortable with?
I like to work with one brand at a time personally, as long as it's viable, as long as it's a big enough contract. But yeah, one brand at a time is enough to me. So the important thing is watch for the exclusivity part of the contract. That's important. There's some brand around that just throw like, okay, you're doing this contract with us, you're stuck with us for like 6 months, you know. That could be bad sometime. I heard of scary stories back in the days about those. Work your price with them. It doesn't need to be a competition, doesn't need to be like intense. If you love the brand, just work the price around them. Do it and never underestimate your value. That's important, because if you charge not enough, you're gonna kill the industry, you know.
Good
so
point.
You gotta charge enough money to not kill the industry, but you gotta charge not too much money to stay in the game, you know. So that's about it.
You know, what are the closing remarks, you know, Lloyd, you have for, you know, 3 or 4 things that they can do in 2023, you know, if they are a bartender trying to build their profiles?
I'd say keep looking around for trends. Never stop using your social medias. Look around on TikTok. TikTok is a new big thing. I don't personally like doing TikToks. I'm trying my best. But yeah, trends, that's very important. Go to events, that's important too. You know, your social media community is important, but more important than that is your real community, you know.
True.
Going to like festivals, going to Tales of Cocktail, go everywhere, travel about cocktail. That's how you make a community.
Our third guest for today is Raj Shukla, representing the Indian American community. Raj has been a part of Fort Wayne, Indiana's spirited cocktail scene for a very long time. He's currently a managing partner at 3 Leaves, A highlight in his bartender career was when he was hired by PGA Tour in 2022 as a bartender. He was also featured at The Drink Master on Netflix and was ranked world-class top 5 bartender of USA in 2021.
Amazing, Raj. Thanks for taking the time out here. Well, the reason for this podcast is really I want to ask you, what can drinks influencers do today to grow in 2023, right? So what I mean by drinks influencers is really, our bartending community who are trying to build their profiles, right? So what is your, 3 or 4 things that you can start off with on how they can position their profiles and on which platforms especially?
Certainly, yeah. So I definitely would say as of late, Instagram has always been a great platform to be on, especially if you're, working with just photos of your cocktails, trying to build that brand for yourself and getting those followers. Obviously, when coming in with any kind of brand, it's going to take time, right? It's going to take time and experience. The best advice I have with that is just being really true to yourself and, your personal journey. I think what we do as bartenders is really storytelling, right? So whichever platform you feel most comfortable, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, definitely use those to your advantage and what's creating that, engageable content.
True. You say, storytelling, which is absolutely true. And you have to be honest to yourself, right? You got to fit in your own personalities. What are the 3 or 4 examples of good storytelling? I've seen, cocktails, for example, is a common thing that people do. But any 3 or 4 different kind of storytelling tips that you can do that they can sort of put in their ingredients and in their formulas?
A couple of things that I usually play off of is, experiences in my life, right? I'm not a very old person by any means, but I like to engage, viewers and my guests at the bar, with a story that might be sentimental or might be funny, try to keep the mood light as much as you can, right? So when it comes to me telling stories, you are as an individual, the true storyteller of your life story, right? So you should be able to, talk about yourself and talk about your life story and how you came around. Me, I've got a pretty solid story of, my upbringing, my father being first generation of our family to move to the United States, me being first born in the United States. And that's a great, lead off story of, just who I am in general, right? I'm definitely, Indian American, but definitely Americanized for sure. But it's using those to your strengths. For me, like a good example that I have when I am creating cocktails is I try to think of something fun or kind of out of the box that I remember in my life or in my experiences, whether it was something I saw in a movie or a television show or a song I really like. It's trying to just take those things that I am fond of and trying to turn that into a story. The more stories you can have, the more likely you are to engage with the masses and engage with different consumers, different viewers on your IG or on your TikTok. I think that's where it starts,
What about 2 or 3 entertaining content? Like, have you thought about, like, do you intentionally put out some humor? And what would some examples of that would be?
Absolutely. So one thing I know, like when you get into the higher level of, mixology and bartending, it gets very serious. People take it very seriously. No smiles. You're wearing a nice black tux or a suit and a tie, whatever. I've always told my team and my staff that, what we do is fun. People come out here to enjoy themselves, to have a good time, to have an alcoholic beverage or 2 with their coworkers, their family, their friends, and the mood should be light, most often than not. So I think with that being said, as bartenders, when you're creating your content, you don't have to take yourself too seriously, right? Believe me, I am one of those bartenders that if there's a clinic video or a presentation of some really nerdy scientific stuff, I love that. Like I love getting nerdy with it and going down the rabbit holes of, spirits and cocktails and things. But I think for viewership and just, to be genuine to yourself, you can laugh at your mistakes. You can laugh at things, right? A good example would be, if you've seen Drink Masters, you can see me on there making a drink without bar tools. You're using all kinds of random things that you would not normally make a drink with. And that's fun to watch. You're spilling stuff, you're under pressure, and, people that view that, get a nice laugh and a good chuckle out of it. So I definitely would recommend just don't take yourself too seriously. If you spill something, acknowledge it and move on. Have fun with it, laugh at it, because we're people. We're human beings that are going to make mistakes as well. And I think when people see you as, in the top of your field, but still human enough that you can make a mistake and laugh at it, I think that's the kind of humor that really drives participation and really drives engagement.
I think one of the things where I wanted to really go was, we're not full-time drinks influencers at the end of the day. We're talking about bartenders who will have an active social profiles, right? Who want to do a little bit of sidekicks, who want to always have a leverage with their profile. Maybe, something happens, they have at least their followers to get the job back and so on, right? So there are many different uses for building your profile if you're a bartender. So my question to you is really about the time. We know that it's a hard job, like it's just a grind, right? Like you just are working hard, and then you want to do that 2 posts a day on each platform. How have you engineered your time? Have you given to someone else, or do you plan? Walk me over your process. Like, do you do a monthly calendar? What's the best time efficient way for a working bartender?
I would say, keep it in the now, right? I'm a very organic, kind of fluid person when it comes to posting on my social media. So if I'm doing something that's fun, that's worthwhile, I just want people to know where I'm at, what I'm doing, and how much I'm enjoying doing what I do. I think passion is definitely a huge thing that, when you have the time to make posts, that's great. If you're the type of person that has scheduled posts that you make twice a day, 3 times a day, or every week on a calendar, if that works for you, fantastic. My philosophy is, I want to be in the moment. I want people to see what I'm doing when it's really happening. There might be a time where I have a great idea for a post or for a reel, but at the end of the day, if I'm working and it's busy, I want people to see what's going on around me. I want you to see that we're busy, we're having a great time. I'm here to take care of you, we're making awesome drinks. And when you're behind the stick at a bar, more often than not, you have your phone on you and you will have a few seconds to, take a quick video or take a quick picture and upload it, I think we just get faster with it as time goes on, but there's more than one way to do it. If you are more like me, who's organic and just, has an idea for something, post it. I do try to at least post, once a day, twice a day if I can. But obviously, I'm not always making a cocktail all the time. I don't think people will get much engagement by me being on my laptop looking at spreadsheets and working on Excel for a couple hours a day,
So, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Instagram, I think would be the 3 main platforms, right? What's your take on, where is the attention today?
I definitely think it's moving more and more towards TikTok, definitely.
Okay.
I listened to a really good podcast a few weeks ago talking about the algorithms being much more different on TikTok than it is on Instagram. So I feel like you're much more probable to get a lot more engagement and views via the TikTok platform. It's just a whole different beast altogether. And I think that since TikTok is more geared towards the humorous side of those quick short videos and reels, if you can kind of, crack that code and just get into it and start working on it, I think you'll have a lot better success.
Let's talk about business side of things, right? So brands reaching out to you, or maybe, any sponsored post or any kind of revenue, right? Has that come over on Insta DMs, TikTok DMs, or LinkedIn DMs more?
I would say it's been pretty split. I think I've gotten more through LinkedIn and more through Instagram. Luckily, I have a good network of brand ambassadors and brands that I know currently from other bartending events and engagements. So a few of them have reached out to me directly via email or phone, which has been fantastic. But I would definitely say it's kind of a split between Instagram and TikTok. People seeing my content, messaging me about, hey, can we send you this, or do you mind talking about that?
So you've noticed
it's very
distillers. Like, have you noticed more distillers coming on TikTok now, like the CEOs in the C-suite?
I wouldn't say the CEOs in the C-suite. I definitely believe that there are certain brands out there that have a wonderful marketing team and wonderful brand ambassadors. One that comes to mind is the Campari Group. They have an amazing group of individuals that are really close friends of mine that are just great for their company, right? They reach out, they're always engaging with the industry, with bartenders alike. So I feel like, when they kind of know you from other events, they see what you're doing, they want to engage. Whether or not that comes out to be a monetary thing or not, who knows? I mean, it doesn't always happen that way, but there's always that option.
So let me ask you, what's your personal plan? Like, what's your goal? What's your strategy of 2023? Because I think that will help other people.
Definitely, yeah. So my strategy for this coming up year is definitely to be more engaged on social media than I ever have. That's something that I was not very strong at to begin with, just because, if you come to Fort Wayne, you ask who Raj is, everyone pretty much knows who I am in a small town that I live in. We're not super small. I mean, we have about 275,000 people here in the city, so it's good size, right? But I definitely want to be more engaged with, Instagram doing reels, definitely getting into the TikTok game more, just because I know it's more fun and there's a lot more people engaging on that platform than anything else. I definitely want to, take some some help from some brands, hopefully here in the near future, maybe getting some of the Drink Masters crew, contestants along with myself to do some pop-ups around the country this coming up year. We're trying to get in talks with people from Pernod Ricard, who are the sponsor on the show. We'd love to work with them if possible, but if not, I'm sure there's other brands out there that'd be willing to help us, definitely get out in the country into some other cities and engage. Not necessarily engage with bartenders and industry folks, but more engage with potential consumers. Sharing information about the brand, sharing information about who we are as bartenders. Yes, we're mixologists, we're bartenders, we're professionals, but we're also people too. We want to be able to just hang out and mingle with these folks as well, and maybe do a little education point. Who knows? So,
got it.
Working on that for this next coming up year.
You understand the timing part of things, right? Like you are right at the moment where you want to capitalize and double down on your. Everyone has that moment of life where you have to act, otherwise that chance is gone again, right? Like you have the camera, lights, action on you, and now you just have to work hard. Like it is part of the life. Like next 60 days, Raj has to work very hard, for example. So, what are the, personally, like what have you written down? Like 10 things that you really, really are going to you're going to write content, you're going to do interviews, you're going to do this and that. Are there any business plans that you've made for the next first quarter?
So I have been working on 2 concepts here locally in Fort Wayne. They're still kind of in my back pocket. They've been ready for a little while now. I'm just trying to find the right partners to work with. Fort Wayne's a great small, big city, but we have a great food and beverage scene here right now. And our downtown is booming with, new buildings and all kinds of revitalization, which has been fantastic. And I have been approached by a few folks that want to, possibly work with me, but, I just want to work with the right people. I'm all about a team and being a team effort. So I definitely want to surround myself with, like-minded people that want to, share in my vision and share in my ideas to make that come forward. I've definitely been approached by a few different people outside of Fort Wayne, mostly in Indianapolis and surrounding cities here in Indiana, that are opening up, cocktail bars and programs. They've asked me to come on as a consult to come down and help make their menu, teach them and train their staff, which is very exciting. But at the end of the day, my goal is to keep on posting content, sharing what my visions are and what my drinks are going to look like, what they should look like, because that's what I love to do. I love making drinks. I love taking care of people. And if I could have my own spot or two to call home and say, hey, come see me at my bar, come see my team. We'll take amazing care of you and see where that goes.
What are the 3 or 4 or maybe more drinks trends do you see in 2023? Like what categories do you see popping up in 2023?
I definitely feel like the non-alcoholic beverage section of the menu is continuing to grow at an exponential rate, which I think is fantastic. I definitely love having a good mix of non-alcoholic beverages on a menu. It keeps people engaged. The reality is people are starting to not want to drink as much, which necessarily isn't a bad thing for business, for the bar business especially, but people still want to go out, enjoy, and if they want to sustain from drinking, they still want to engage and have a great time in your bar, right? So I think having, more NA spirits that are coming available on the markets today is a fantastic thing. And I definitely think seeing that menu section increasing over the next, 6 to 8 months for sure. I definitely feel like people are having more fun with the classics now, right? Since 2002, 2003, we've had this giant cocktail renaissance, cocktail boom. Now, so many bartenders and consumers alike understand the classic cocktails, how to make them, how to balance them out, how they're supposed to be made correctly. So I feel like now that that's starting to happen, you're starting to see a lot more creativity and ingenuity with, riffs on these classic cocktails, which I think is going to be exciting to see here in the next, year or two, or where that's coming. And there's also a lot of people really getting excited about whiskeys and brown spirits again, which I think is really cool. Especially women. I mean, women are the #1 drinkers of brown spirits and whiskey and bourbon right now in the country, which I love. Whiskey and bourbon is one of my favorite things to sip on and drink and make cocktails with. So to see that more people are trying to enjoy that, on the rocks or neat and really understand that, it's fantastic.
Have you got any other closing remarks, Raj, for, just anything that you want to say, like, just for the community?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty humble guy. I've been lucky to get on some podcasts recently, do some radio interviews and things like that. But if you come and see me where I work, you'll know that, when I'm at work, I'm Mr. Excitement. I'm always having fun, having a great time, engaging with everybody, supporting my team. But when it comes to the limelight shining on me and being a part of this awesome experience of Drink Masters and, having all these great accolades of being a professional and, one of the top in my fields, it's very, very exciting, but it's also very humbling at the same time. I'm a big believer in education and teaching, right? I'm not doing my job correctly if I don't have people behind me to continue that torch and hold that torch and keep it going in the next direction, right? So that's my big goal is, if I can, somehow get a spot or two of my own where I can, be a proprietor of my own bar restaurant. I want to make sure that my staff is taught the best possible way possible, so that way they can go on and open up their bars one day or continue to run my programs or whatever, that's what's really important to me. Social media obviously is, very important to success with, your branding and all your images and stuff. But I think it starts with you as the individual. If you're a passionate person, if you keep your head down, roll with the punches, expect to fail and still get back up and try it again, you're going to be okay.